Okay, so recently I've been playing Control with ray tracing on, and today I want you to give an update on what I actually think about ray tracing and determine if it's actually worth it. Well, so far I'm running the game on an RTX 2060 with everything on Ultra. It's running at more than 60 FPS per second. I don't really know what the average is because I don't have the FPS counter on, but it's supposed to be, it's at least more than 60 FPS because I never seen a tip on the frame rate. On the frame rate, it has always been more than 60 at least. More than 60 at least. My TV has a 60 hertz refresh rate, so it should be about 60 or at least more than 60. But anyway, I do really think it's worth it. At least not for this game. For this game, you're not really going to see a lot of difference with the ray tracing, and if you want to really see a difference, you're going to have to pay attention to where ray tracing is supposed to be acting up. And right when you are like closer to a reflective surface, to a mirror, then you can check your reflections and find out that indeed they're about accurate. But I've seen some videos comparing ray tracing on and off, and indeed the game had, the technology is indeed amazing, but it consumes a lot of FPS. There's even like a joke when you turn on ray tracing, pretty much you turn off FPS, right? Ray tracing on FPS gone is pretty much what some people are saying here. But yeah, I think that the technology is indeed amazing. It really solves the problem with the reflective surfaces, especially mirroring in games, right? The game developers do indeed have a hard time in developing mirrors, right? They can't actually develop mirrors who reflect what's in front of them. But really, it's actually the technology really has a lot of potential, but they really need to find a way to make it so that it consumes less resources. But I was thinking, since ray tracing requires a lot of calculation, shouldn't it be something that the processor should be taking care of instead of the GPU? I was just thinking maybe that would be the way, or at least a direction to take to make ray tracing less performance intensive. But yeah, even with the RTX 2060, which is the lowest RTX card, you can still get a very good frame rate for this game on Ultra at 1080p. If you want a 1440p, right, you're not really going to get a 60 FPS, but it should still be a decent frame rate. You're not going to get anywhere near 30 FPS, I imagine. And NVIDIA DLSS actually helps quite a bit when it comes to maintaining a constant frame rate. But yeah, it's not really a game-changing thing. It's not really going to fundamentally change the way you play games. Or at least there's actually a moment where the reflection on a glass window, glass door, or something like that during the game actually made me actually fuck it up because I thought it was an enemy and I blasted the mirror, or better, the glass door with using the launch technique, the launch skill. You know, if you played the game, then you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think except for some rare instances, you're not really going to see effects on how you play the game. But yeah, it does indeed look nicer. For example, when you are watching something on a TV, like one of those recordings, then you can indeed notice the reflection on the TV's glass. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It is indeed pretty cool, but right now it's just a very new technology. It's going to take a lot of time to become something which might actually become a standard in gaming. It just might go the way with Hairworks. Hairworks, a lot of people say, okay, it really looks amazing. Hair looks awesome, but it just never it just never became a thing, right? The games just didn't really word about that. You saw some games like The Witcher 3, Far Cry 4, I believe. Yeah, some games which indeed had Hairworks, but then as the years passed, pretty much everyone just talked about that technology because there are so many ways that you can simulate how hair is supposed to move, that and it's just less time, less performance intensive, which made it so that these companies just stopped worrying about that sort of thing. And I mean, with a ray tracing, it might just go that way. I think a company just might use a ray tracing to figure out what a place is supposed to look like in terms of illumination, and then just simulate that illumination and get something pretty close to real ray tracing. Yeah, that is, unless NVIDIA actually comes up with a better way to perform with these tasks. But until then, we're going to have to see what's really going to happen. But anyway, that was it. I'll see you guys another time.